Millions of residents have been ordered to evacuate, and right now many of the streets there are still lined with items that were destroyed by the last hurricane less than 2 weeks ago.
And that trash could turn into dangerous projectiles when Milton makes landfall as early as tonight. Meteorologist Chita Craft is joining us now. Chita, the National Weather Service is saying the storm surge is unsurvivable.
Oh, yeah.
What does that look like?
Okay, so I want you to think about this. When we're talking about above 6 feet or even potentially above 12-foot storm surge, you would have to take a 6-foot person, stack 2 people, and that is how far that water will be pushed over shore. So buildings, people, that's why it is unsurvivable. Now, entire coast almost of the west coast there of Florida is looking at not only hurricane warnings, look at the storm surge above 12 feet there for Tampa, Sarasota, just south of, but even well north of Tampa Bay and well south of Tampa Bay could see above 6-foot storm surge. So life-threatening conditions unfolding not only with the storm surge. Cat 5 hurricane now expected to make landfall tonight as a Category 4. Think maximum sustained winds at 130 miles per hour. Now watch the latest track very carefully here, potentially staying a major hurricane even as it pushes inland across Florida. I mean, areas like Orlando, well inland, could be looking at potentially 8 to 10 inches of rain. So almost a foot of rain, again, in a very short period of time, over about an 8 to 10 hour window there. Latest future track run, still see that well-defined eye. I mean, Cat 5, Cat 4 upon landfall this evening, right over Tampa Bay or potentially just south of, and then jets across. So tonight and into early tomorrow morning, I think around midnight to maybe 2 a.m., that's when it's hugging portions of the east coast of Florida there. And then I think by about 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, it's already back into the open waters of the Atlantic. But guys, a devastating storm expected to unfold over the next 24 hours.
All right, Chita, yeah, we can see it in your graphic. Thank you. CBS News correspondent Nicole Valdez is joining us live now this morning from Florida, where less than 2 weeks ago, these same areas were impacted by Helene.
Yeah, Nicole, we're hearing about mass evacuations, crowded highways, dwindling supplies. What are you seeing on the ground?
Well, good morning, guys. Really, that storyline, right? The evacuations and the crowded highways has been sort of the focus for the last 2 days as people tried to get out long before the storm starts to move towards the state of Florida. Today, that focus has now shifted. Most of those people should have already evacuated. They should already be getting to where they plan to ride out this storm and out of the areas that are under those mandatory evacuations. That includes downtown Fort Myers here. And you'll sort of notice that this is an area that recognizes they are in that threat zone for potentially catastrophic storm surge. We're talking anywhere from 8 to 12 feet of water here. Businesses like the one behind me have several layers of protection in front of them, recognizing how likely this is. I mean, we're talking about tape, plastic wrap, sandbags, and large tubes that sort of work like oil booms to try to divert the water away from the building. That's sort of their best defense here, as that storm surge is expected in just a matter of hours. And it's not a matter of if we'll see it, but just how bad will it get.
Yeah, Nicole, the next 24 hours are crucial. Any type of wobble in regards to Milton's landfall can dramatically change the forecast. We know this personally, being here in Houston. Yeah. So what are the biggest concerns today?
The biggest threat truly is that storm surge. I mean, when you're talking about 12, maybe even 15 feet of water for some communities, that is a deadly situation. It's why not only people were told to get out of places like those barrier islands, those lower lying coastal communities, but there's also curfews in place. Local authorities warning those who choose to ignore those evacuation orders and stay in their homes that help will not come until after the storm passes. They pull their officers off the streets once winds reach up to 45 miles per hour. That is an unfortunate thing that they have to do to keep first responders safe. So anyone who calls 911 in the heat of the storm, if things go south, unfortunately, local law enforcement is telling us here that no one's coming to help for quite some time.
Yeah, in other words, you're on your own, so hopefully the majority of people did evacuate and listen to the warnings. Nicole Valdez, live for us in Fort Myers, Florida. Thank you so much for joining us.